Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are getting our block ready for paint and just out here after work enjoying a nice cigar and yeah, cleaning it up, degreasing it. So just a few little tricks and stuff I kind of just like to share. I'm not going to bore you with a whole bunch of sitting here degreasing everything. So obviously we're painting the entire thing, so just cleaning everything right now with wax and grease remover. This is I think probably the fourth time I'm going over this week. But yeah, getting it cleaned up and ready to go. So just kind of wanted to share with you guys some of the little masking tricks and stuff when it comes to this type of stuff. So take you down here and get you a little closer look. So like when it comes to spots like this where the motor mount's going to end up going, I really don't want to put paint there, so just putting a little piece of tape over it. And then what you use, I got a piece of 80 grit sandpaper, and all I'm going to do is just kind of trace that edge with the sandpaper. And what that's doing is you're not hurting anything because you're not really putting anything, but what that does is that just scores the edge for you. So it just peels away. That leaves you a perfect outline. You can come back and clean the edges up a little bit. Get a little bit of extra stuff off there. And that just gives you a nice cut around it. As you can see, I did it on the exhaust. The intake's a little different. It's going to be a little bit more pronounced up there, so what I did was I laid the intake on it. I'm going to put some pictures in here. Laid the intake on it, first masked it up, laid the intake on it, and then traced around it. And then not too concerned about the bottom side of the intake, closer to the valley cover. And then went around and actually cut that out. And that's what it turns out to look like. So that way when you guys when you look in the engine bay, I could have easily just masked off all the machined edge on it and not had to worry about getting paint where the O-ring's gonna go for the intake. But I wanted to make it look a little bit more presentable. So I'm gonna go through and finish taping this thing off. We're gonna go ahead and take the spark plugs. I already got one done. All I did was I just broke the end off the spark plug. These are the old ones that come out of the motor. That way when you thread this in, it's easier to get all the way around the spark plug and you're not screwing up threads and shooting paint inside your engine. So just go ahead and take the time and, like we said, use junk pair of spark plugs. Throw them in there and don't have to worry about paint going in those holes and screwing your threads up. So I'm gonna keep going on this Probably not going to do too much time lapse of me cleaning it and all that, because like I said, tomorrow plan is to roll the car outside, give me some more room, and protect the car from the overspray from the paint, and get this thing all painted up so that we can finish installing the oil pan and finish installing everything else and start getting it made into that transmission and put in the car. So we'll go through and finish this up. Welcome back. Today is, as you can tell, kind of wearing some junky clothes here. The motor's behind me, all masked up, ready to go. I put a little clip in that I filmed earlier on some tricks and stuff about masking this thing. We've gone over and waxed and greased to remove it probably 4, 5, 6 times. Not expecting it to be perfect, but it should be a lot better than what it was. So I got the engine over here, got the valve covers over here. I'll try to get a wide enough angle when I start going, but more than likely it's just going to be a quiet video. I'll go through my products real quick with you and what I'm going to be starting off with, and yeah, so we're going to do a primer and then let that cure for about 30 to 45 minutes, so we don't have to sand. So we're going to spray it a little wet on wet, but we still want the primer to dry a little bit. So gonna go through and prime it, and then you guys will see the color. So with that, let's get the products. Okay, so the first step we're gonna go on is we're gonna do a gray epoxy primer. It's just a standard epoxy primer. Got activator for that, 2-part. So that's what we're going to use. And then got some Valspar engine enamel. So we're going to use some Valspar engine enamel on it. That is a single stage base coat, clear coat, all in one. So we won't have to clear it. So just a little bit more resilient when it comes to that. So with that, I'll set you guys up here. I'm gonna go back and wax and grease remove it one more time, just to be on the safe side. The front, and the sides are really the only things that I'm concerned with. So probably gonna get a little bit of pop here and there. So when I say pop, solvent pop, you get that from contaminants like wax and grease. It just doesn't allow the paint to cure on it. So we do have some wax and grease remover over here and some rags that we will have on hand if something should arise, and we can take care of it right away. But with that, we're going to start mixing up our primer and getting this on. So I'm going to try to shoot it a little bit on the low pressure side, just to minimize overspray. We got the garage all protected as much as I can. We got the car pushed outside, so luckily it brightened up. It was snowing this morning, so but let's get this all painted up and pretty. So I'm gonna shove her in there. So come back to you. So that's 2 parts of epoxy primer. So we're gonna go ahead and get our paint mixed up because I don't want this to flash off too long, because then I'm gonna have to sand it. Do not want to have to sand this. Surprisingly, I'm gonna take you down here. Surprisingly, from what I see now, I do not have any solvent pop, which I am ecstatic about. Turned out really good with the primer. So the primer will tell you if you get any solvent pop. And from what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing any solvent pop on this. So, excuse me for the lighting, but doing what I can in the garage. So, but yep, no solvent pop at all. So happy. So we're actually going to replace our crank position sensor. Cheap insurance, might as well. We're going to put the starter right here. So starter goes right here, right in front of the crank position sensor. So I don't want to have to change that if it's not right. So I might as well change it now. So I'm going to go ahead and get my paint mixed up. Sorry I'm not showing you guys mixing paint. Anybody can go buy a cup. Tells you your mixing ratio on the cup and mix it to what the can says. So I'm gonna go ahead, get this thing ready for paint and get my stuff mixed up. So come back to you and go on that process. Okay, here we go. Got the base coat all mixed up, ready to shoot. So I'm gonna go over here. You guys are gonna get kind of duped because I'm gonna do the valve covers real quick before I do that motor. So here we go. So, surprise, surprise, it's red. If you guys would have gone on my Instagram or socials, you would have seen the rendering and the big hint in the background what our accent color was going to be on this car. So, red. I matched it with calipers. I brought the caliper in and had them take a picture of the caliper, and that's Willwood red. So figured rather than paint the caliper, we should paint the engine. We had to paint it anyway. So getting really excited because now engine's painted, we can start putting the goodies on. Valve covers are also red. There's gonna be a lot of red in there, but we're gonna break it up with the front drive, and it's gonna give that retro vibe, except for it's not gonna be orange or blue. So, like I said, should have known. If you had gone on my Instagram and seen the rendering of the car, you would have seen that big line in the background. So go to my Instagram, follow me, leave hints when I get it done. So we're gonna let this tack up. You can see in the background I got my heater going. I mean, the garage is heated, but I got a propane heater back there. But I'm just reaching around and seeing where our tack level's at, because I got some stuff maxed off on here, and then I want to make sure I peel the masking off prior to the paint getting extremely hard. This is enamel, engine enamel at that. This stuff's going to be hard, so I want to get some of the tape taken off before it completely dries, so it doesn't just peel a whole bunch of it off. So I'm gonna go through and get some of the stuff unmasked and take you down closer. Okay, here she is. We got her all unmasked. Like I said, we masked it up for our intake manifold. I didn't know down here kind of where our headers were going to be, so I might come back and touch that stuff up. But she is red. So got the valve covers over here. Turned out really, really glossy. Very nice. Like I said, we had some inspiration on this color, coming in the form of our brakes. Wood red. That's what we ended up getting it. I ended up taking my caliper to the auto body store and getting the paint mixed up to match. So it's going to be our accent color. I'm not sure how much more red stuff we're going to paint, but I don't know. We'll see. So with that, she's a wrap. So we're gonna get her starting on final assembly on it, get our valve covers on. We still got to redo the brackets for the ignition coils. I'm gonna sandblast those and repaint those black. Obviously we got water pump and all the stuff on the front, but that's not going to stop us from sticking this in the car. Got to split my transmission back there off the old motor. Got my ICT billet. God, I gotta move. Got the heater right here. Got my ICT billet, flex plate, and adapter for the Turbo 350. So, and got the rest of my stuff. So, the cool thing about it is the intake manifold that we're using is going to use factory throttle cable. Dirty fingers. Factory throttle cable, and it will retain the Turbo 350 takedown cable. So got all that squared up. So like I said, we're going with kind of a retro vibe. Like I said, might have saw that if you went on my Instagram and checked that out. So check that out. Stay tuned for more content. And yeah, gotta add a little bit of color in that dark area. So we will get back when it's time to start assembling this and getting this made into the transmission and put in the car. So like I always say, like, subscribe, check out those socials, and yeah, stay tuned for more content. We are getting close to putting this in. Probably one more episode. So all right, we'll see you guys.